Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I've finally gotten to the best of 2024. Welcome to the most topical channel on the internet. Best of list 6 months late, bringing up Harry Potter in 2025. I have this joke in my house that all of my favorite music is from 7 years ago because for some reason I discover songs I like really late. I was amazed that I liked Chapel Row and Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, and The Last Dinner Party in the actual month that the music was released. It was a miracle. I literally just discovered Boys by Charlie XCX and I'm completely addicted to it. I'm listening to the original, the live like version, the cover by Wolf Alice. How did I not know this exists? I'm sort of angry about it. And it's 7 years old. So a very late best of list seems to just be how I operate. I am going to preface that I have 2 rules for this. Very short. I am counting any polish I bought this year, not necessarily polishes that were released this year. I don't know if this needs to be said, but I am not including anything like a top coat, a base coat, any of these staples that are meant to make the polishing experience last longer or perform better. This list was so hard to compile. 10 was too few. I thought I would be more comfortable picking 15, so that is what I went with. And looking at my entire list for the year, boy did I buy some bangers. The first 7 or 8 I picked were very obviously my favorites. The next set of 6 were clearly wonderful and I felt great enthusiasm. But the last 2 slots had so many good candidates, and it was so hard to choose those last 2. I'm still second-guessing myself on those. I'm starting out number 15 with one you actually haven't seen from me. I actually bought this before I started my channel, and it never got swatched for the channel. I had worn it prior to beginning. So, here we have Hermit Crab by Mooncat. I will eventually make a video for it, so I don't have any footage to show you, so hopefully me wiggling the bottle around is long enough to cover what I'm about to say. It is a corally crelly with an orange shimmer and an iridescent flake that mostly shows gold for me. At odd angles you will see a green and a blue, but mostly gold. This was another polish that I agonized over when I was ordering. I wasn't really sure I would like it, but it is one of those gorgeous colors that you just won't be able to stop staring at it once you do get it on your nails. But it has been discontinued by Mooncat. Boo. Boo, I say boo. At number 14, I put in Lemon by Bee's Knees Lacquer. Yes, Lemon made my list, I know. I have seen the commentary about it being overrated. One thing I will say is if you've seen footage of it and you've seen pictures of it, it's not one of those polishes where people could say, oh, you've got to see it in person. No, you don't. If you don't like what you see in those pictures and in that footage, you don't need this polish. It is exactly what it looks like. Some polishes just don't film well. That is not the case here. It is very sheer, and any opacity it does manage does come from the buildup of shimmer, and I liked it. Enough for it to make the year-end list in June, or nearly June. I didn't have anything else even vaguely like this, so it also feels very unique to my collection, which made it a bit special for me as well. At number 13, we have Lightweaver by Bee's Knees Lacquer, a sunshiny yellow polish with a gold to green to blue shimmer. Yes, another yellow. I'm as surprised as anyone. This is both flashy and subdued all at the same time. This one just gives me cartoon happy sun with a smiley face inside vibes. What isn't to love about that? It is a fairly fine particle, so the final product does have quite a smooth finish. Now I just need to find a yellow crelly with flakes or glitter. Wish me luck. At number 12, we have The Greater Good by Emily DeMolly. This is a re-release polish, but I obtained it in 2024. This is a polish that gets its color entirely from shimmer. It shifts from an icy aqua blue over to a dusty rose pink. In addition, it has some copper flakes. I love polishes like this with this very shiny base pigment and a disruptive, contrasting element, like a flake or a glitter. My own negligence nearly robbed me of this one, but luckily it kept getting restocked, and I did manage to get a hold of one. For number 11, I've chosen You're My Queen by Bee's Knees Lacquer, another Prugly color. This one is a sage green jelly base with the hollow flakes and a blue shimmer. It seems this year one of my themes for purchasing was things with blue shimmer. It was like a drug. This one is soft and subtle in terms of color, but really does pack a punch with the hollow flakes and the shimmer. Coming in at number 10 is The Golden Path, also by Bee's Knees Lacquer. A lot of Bee's Knees, because I did purchase a fair amount of Bee's Knees. A lion cousin with a pale peach base and a pink-green gold shimmer. I was so happy for this very jelly lion cousin. In terms of showing the hollow glow, this is one of my best lion polishes. It was truly lovely, and I was so happy I took a chance on this. Because this color isn't an obvious choice for me, and especially when I think of things I love, this is not the first thing that jumps into my mind. Ooh, we're getting down into the crunch now. For number 9, I have chosen Captain Howdy by Glam Polish. This polish has it all. A lovely, bright, fun mint base color, then pops of red glitter, and, because it's this year and I loved everything blue, a blue shimmer. I really do feel like I did this polish a disfavor by needing to produce it quickly and basically leaving out the voiceover. I do think it's a fun, lovely polish that deserved more attention than that. Maybe someday I'll go back and fix my egregious error. Moving down the list again, we have The Phoenix Reborn by BKL. So grungy, so tarnished. I love the contrast of that dirty pink base with the bright blue shimmer, and it is squishy as anything. I think if my list so far has taught us anything about what I enjoyed this year, jellies do feature very highly. Shocker, I know. When I thought of expanding my polish into the pinks, I really did think I was going to struggle. And somehow I have not struggled, even a little bit. I have found all sorts of pinks sort of popping up here and there. And even though I did not purchase every one that caught my eye, enough caught my eye that I did purchase. For number 7, I have chosen You Have Fucking Destroyed Me by Bee's Knees Lacquer. Another extremely saturated color that just strikes me like a lightning bolt. Sometimes polishes that come into my collection are so nice that it really is hard not to put them on several times in close succession. This is one of those polishes. I had to tell myself to calm down and wear my other purchases. At number 6, I have picked Lynx by Cirque Colors. This is a gorgeous murky green with a perfectly matched swampy chartreuse magnetic pull. When I go to sleep dreaming of all the greens in the world, this one floats into my imagination pretty often. There's something so soothing about these very natural seeming greens to me. Absolute perfection. I think I will literally cry when I finish my bottle. For number 5, I have chosen Cosmic Cowboy by Moodcat. This is one of the first things I think I really ever swatched for the channel. As you might know, I'm a cobalt/indigo/ultramarine junkie. It surprises me not one iota that I loved this. This has exactly the right amount of pigment to be a jelly without losing the concentration of color that makes this so extraordinary to look at. For number 4, I've chosen You Don't Even Exist to Me by Bee's Knees Lacquer. This was another surprise favorite. I loved the soft chocolate brown with a pink tint to the base. Add to that a magenta red and orange shimmer and a heap of hollow. It's another lion cousin. I find it difficult to believe that I both wrote that sentence and now I'm saying it. This was a gift with purchase and became one of my favorite additions for the year. At number 3, I have chosen Torrent by Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is yet another surprise favorite. I thought I'd like it, but I loved it. The base is a subtle but still noticeable soft brown with a very fun shimmer. And I think this one is very versatile, which is also very appealing for me. You could wear this in any number of coats, just depending on the look you wanted that day. And who could forget that this is the Glam Marmot. Coming in at number 2, perhaps a controversial polish. This is House of Hades by Mooncat. Yes, I bought this very early in 2024. It might have a finicky formula, and it does, but there is no denying the color of this polish. This is how I envision seductive space sirens from distant alien planets if we had that sort of modern B-movie. This is absolutely one of those polishes that you might not appreciate until you see it in person, because it is truly startlingly beautiful. And coming in at number 1 is the Scarlet Fox by BKL. I feel like you knew this was coming, right? The Scarlet Fox was by far my favorite polish in 2024. I could not believe how beautiful this was. It isn't just that it was so wonderful to look at, but also that it was just so shocking. I think this was still on the BKL site the last time I checked, and that is just a crime. I feel like the nail world needs to sit me down and explain it to me like a 5-year-old because I just do not understand. I do have a few honorable mentions because I just felt so bad that I'd left such nice polishes out, and I just, felt so guilty. There were just so many good polishes from this year. These could easily have been substituted for other polishes in the actual list. And there's even more besides these ones, but these are the 4 to keep this under control that I felt I could put in. The first is Chocolate with Nuts by Cuticula. This was a collaboration with Caitlin Swatches. The base color is a very pink brown. This has just got a ton of flakes in gold, orange, bronze, and black. It is squishy and buildable. I had a lot of fun with this one. It is a busier look, but I do like a flake-heavy polish. Also in the honorable mentions is The Living Won't Usually See the Dead by Bee's Knees. This is the neon orange Crelly with a very shifting shimmer, more so than it looks in the bottle. You're going to get at least green, blue, and purple. This is not a subtle polish. This is more of a boom pow, Batman from the 60s. Also an honorable mention from way back in the spring, Never Trust the Living by Lumen. It is an extremely sheer murky green jelly with a very bright blue shimmer. My obsession with the blue shimmer strikes again. This one was exactly the perfect balance of base color to shimmer, neither one overshadowing the other. Absolutely gorgeous. And my final honorable mention, Straight Up by Glam Polish. I saw a lot of pinks that I really enjoyed the look of, and I always worry that it'll get into my possession and it'll be too crelly or something like that. Not this one. Fantastic. This is just one of those undeniable shades. I have a hard time imagining this would look bad on literally anyone. I thought here I would just throw in some groups of polishes in my picks that I thought were interesting. What we're looking at are what I'm going to call warm colors. The oranges, the pinks, the reds. The dustier ones are in the top row, and I think they all look quite distinct. The ones in the bottom row are more jewel tone, more punchy colors. I think I also did a decent job of not buying things too close, but you can see how my love of corals and corally oranges might have gotten me a little close to duping. The next group up is the browns. I think I did a decent job here. There was definitely a preference for browns with a pink undertone in them because both the Cuticula and the Bee's Knees in the middle had that. But I don't think you would ever mistake these 2 polishes for each other. Torrent on the end is obviously very different from those, and I do think that one has a very slight yellow tint to the base. So good job, me. Up next are the yellows, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think these look anything alike, despite being in the same category. I think lemon, being so sheer, sets itself apart, plus all of its yellow comes from shimmer. Lightweaver is a very small particle shimmer, so has a very almost chromy look to it, and the Golden Path is very textured looking. Next are the greens, the true greens, in my opinion, although one of them I think I could stretch. I don't think these look anything alike, although arguably Captain Howdy in the middle might have gone with another category that's about to come up because it does have a fair amount of blue in it, because it is a minty base color. Next up are the blues, and this is where arguably Captain Howdy could have gone, but when I saw it next to them I was like, no, I'm going to put it with the greens. Now, in fairness, the base color of House of Hades is actually purple, but because of the very strong blue flakes in it, it does kind of come off as blue overall, so I'm putting it with blue. And technically, it is the only purple I chose in this entire thing. This was very bereft of purple. Again, I think each of these looks distinct, and so that makes me happy that I'm following my rules, at least as regards my favorites this year. Another small grouping that I noticed this year was my lion cousins. Up to this point, I had only ever purchased one. I had received a couple as gifts with purchase, so now I own way more of these than I ever would have suspected I would. And finally, apparently I need to shame myself because these are all the polishes that ended up in this list that feature blue somewhere in the shimmer. If not the most prominent color, then somewhere where it shows up pretty well. Luckily, I don't think this violates any of my rules. I think all of these look different enough. And I didn't include House of Hades because those are flakes and not a shimmer. I just thought it was really funny that I seem to have this theme in my subconscious that I was completely unaware of until I actually started pulling this list. So those are my picks for the year, my 15 top polishes and my 4 honorable mentions. There were a surprising amount of browns in there and yellows. I was shocked to find that red was my favorite polish this year. Who am I? Some of the bias here is that I was specifically trying to expand my collection into those colors, so they had a better chance of being in this list because I purchased more of those overall than I have in other years. The other thing that surprised me a bit was the ratio of bright and fun to murky and dusty. It was actually split pretty evenly. In another year, I would have expected fun and bright to have easily won out. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can write my own fiction for children based upon magical squirrels. Please enjoy a clip of my chipmunk stuffing her cheeks with peanuts.